There's a side of me that a lot of people do not know about or didn't know about because it's in the past. And I'm trying my best to be as authentic and honest as possible on this vlog because I feel like it's going to be like my memoir or autobiography or whatever they call it when my life is over. So I want to be able to document my real life experiences and the changes that have occurred in my life over the years. And one of those major changes was how I went from playing the field to now wanting love. Because this girl used to be a top player. I would explain, calm down. Anyways, welcome to the BigMa experience.
Welcome to the BigMa experience. Yes, I use my voice so you can't copyright it. Not copyright this, bitch.
If you've been following my journey since I started posting at the beginning of this year, you would know that there's a point where I said I started to do my healing of my heart and I wanted to be able to finally, give love a chance and whatnot. And to do that, I had to go through all my karmic past, cycles people have been with. And in that process was when I realized that I had done some things, in the past that I wouldn't say I'm not so proud of because I kind of am because, I pulled it off, but at the same time, I'm grateful that the past is in the past and I get a chance to a new life this time around. Ever since I had my first crush, and I'm talking this is primary school, primary 4, primary 5, I don't know, man. Ever since I had my first crush, I've always had this attitude of once I notice I like someone, I don't do anything about it. I might hang out with this person every day, we can talk, get close, become literally besties, but I would never do anything about that crush because I always had this, feeling that if I did something with it and it didn't work out, then it will literally crush me. Pun intended. Because, it's always, the crush is always more fun when it's a crush, I believe. Well, I would never know than when it's a reality, So growing up, because I always just avoided intimate relationships, it was so easy for me to play the field. And the crazy part is I never had to lie once. A lot of people think that when you are playing the field, you're definitely telling people lies, you're manipulating and whatnot. I never did none of that. I was always honest. And that always worked in my favor because you know how crazy honesty sounds that it makes you think it's a lie. So basically, I would tell these people the truth about my situation and let them know if they're the only one or there are others I'm involved with. But somehow they don't believe it because I'm the kind of person that when I am with you, I am like the energy and the concentration I give you when we're spending time together would definitely make you feel like there definitely cannot be anyone else. I remember this one time in uni, I had a Lagos boyfriend and I was schooling in Ogun State. I say Lagos boyfriend because, yeah, he was my boyfriend, but we hardly used to see, and it took me years to realize that he was actually a narcissist. I didn't know back then, but he used to. I'm the kind of person that if you ghost me, it really doesn't affect me, like because I'm like, oh, you're ghosting, oh, cool. I literally will carry on like you don't exist. If you show up again, it's hey, how you doing? But do not expect the same level of energy. Trust me, it's as reduced. But I'm still me. The love is still there, but it's not going to be the same. And this Lagos boyfriend of mine was always doing that. And I'd gotten to the point where, and it was my first boyfriend, I'd never had a boyfriend before him. And this was someone that chased me for 2 years. So imagine having to chase someone for 2 years only just to be lackadaisical and inconsistent. But anyway, that's story for another day. And that being my first experience in dating definitely didn't help set the precedent right because now I really wanted to play the field because I'm like, I was trying to give all my concentration to this person. Granted, it wasn't love. It was my first relationship. And he had to hound me down for 2 years. So it was more like I gave in. Like, okay, let me, And then I was in school and there was this particular guy that was on my case for like a long time. He was doing everything to impress me. And it was quite funny. see, I won't say easy, but being able to make me laugh, genuinely make me laugh, not the kind where it's kind of forced. I've been with guys who can't keep up, so they keep forcing it. No, like genuinely say shit that actually makes me laugh. It's already like a softener for me. I'm thinking, this is so cool, you know. I keep in mind all this while I was still a virgin, so I wasn't even having sex with none of this. We're just making out and whatnot, nothing heavy. So the one in school was really up my ass, and I told him, I'm like, yo, I could consider you, but I have a Lagos boyfriend. He probably thought I was lying. He actually thought I was lying. Yeah, I, started dating him. I, asked him if he was seeing anyone. I just wanted to know what the situation was, and he said he wasn't. But along the line, apparently his hallmates really fell in love with me, and they knew about his Lagos girlfriend, and they had to literally gang up against him to tell me about her, thinking they were, I don't know what, man, because the reaction I gave them was nothing they expected, because I was like, oh, is that what the issue is? I could let me talk to him. And even him, he was scared. I'm like, oh no, but I told you I had a Lagos boyfriend. Why didn't you tell me? Like, it's cool. And he didn't understand why I was so, this is uni, I'm like, how old? I'm like 21, 20, and he's looking at me like, he was the only one I actually dated in uni. My entire time in the 3 universities I went to, I never dated anyone else but this one guy. Every other person was just me having a good time. But not, weirdly, never sex. And after him, I think he kind of set the whole precedent for me that I just thought about it, like, you know what? Men ain't shit. So like, just have fun. Don't try to get too close to no one or nothing. And as years went by, because each time I tried to, be in a relationship, and the last serious relationship I had, which was 2012, I talked about, I've flopped that. After him shattering my heart and all that shit, I was like, you know what, full beast mode. You understand? Like, going forward, fuck this niggas. And I did. Fuck this niggas. Oh God, I'm so ashamed of myself. So after my last most serious relationship, and I swore never to try again, I just decided to play the field, and I was fine with, friends with benefit. Back then, it wasn't even called friends with benefit. I remember the first time I tried to do friends with benefit, I called it a relationship of convenience. I remember saying, I think I wrote an article about it saying I would really love a relationship of convenience where we both want the same things but not be together like in a committed relationship, but like we want to just have someone that we can once talk to, hang out with, bump uglies with, and just be cool, no issue. This was back in like 2013 thereabout. It wasn't called Friends with Benefit. In fact, the movie Friends with Benefit, I'm sure it had come out by then, I don't know. But that was what I wanted, and the first person I tried it with, he didn't get the concept of it, because by week 2 he was telling me, I'm in love with you. I'm like, no, that's not what we're trying to do here. We just want to have a good time, And going forward after that, every other person I've experienced would either try to give me the boyfriend experience because they're confused about my own, energy and, the vibe I'm giving them, instead of having a conversation with me and communicating with me and go like, yo, what's going on? Are you catching feels or what? And I can explain to you that no, I'm just a loving person. Just because we're bumping uglies does not mean I should treat you like trash. And that's the thing about men. They do not understand, they don't know how to do that. In my experience with men, they do not know how to treat you like a human being when it's not a relationship. They just believe because y'all are just bumping uglies that they shouldn't give a shit about you. You could literally be dying and they wouldn't care. But when they need to get serviced and they need their, one pump, they know how to seek you out and love bomb you for a bit, give the boyfriend experience, get what they need, and then dash out. And this is like, it's literally like a template. They might do it in different ways, but they all do the same thing. Younger, older, it's the same fucking thing. They tell you that they can handle a woman who doesn't mind an emotionless relationship, and then they encounter someone like me, and before you know it, they try to turn it on me and gaslight me and make it feel like I'm trying to tie them down. I've heard that. Oh my god, so tired of hearing that. Trying to tie you down. I'm like, please, honey. I remember someone said I was obsessed with him. I'm like, dude, the only thing I'm obsessed with is me. That's why I walked away. The minute I'm like, yo, don't ever feel yourself. Don't you just hate that? As I was saying before, I was rudely interrupted by the fact that they brought light. I'm like, don't you ever feel yourself and think just because I'm caring, I'm loving, I'm kind, and my energy is all right, you actually think I'm in love with you and I'm trying to tie you down. Honey, I'm about to be 40. I've been proposed to multiple times. I turned them down because I'm like, sweetie, I ain't trying to get married. Secondly, we're not on the same trajectory. So I've never been desperate to be with a man. Ever. And it's not gonna start today. You understand? It's not me. Just because you don't understand love or understand being kind and humanity, basically, just because you think that you have to treat people that are not important to you or you don't care about like trash, does not mean it's right. I would not do that. I have never had to treat anyone like that. Even those that have really offended me and made me feel like the worst of myself, I wouldn't do that to anyone. I've never played mind games because it's stupid. I'm the kind of person that people call naive just because if you tell me something, I want to take you for your word until you prove otherwise. That doesn't make me naive. It just means I don't want to exist in a world where I always have to watch my back. It's ridiculous that everybody that comes around you, you always have to think, oh, they're lying to you. I don't want to live in that kind of world. But unfortunately, that's the world men generally live in. They do not even know the truth because they can't even tell it to themselves. And when they encounter someone like me, who is always all about truth, they're like, nah, she's lying. She always lying. And then by the time they find out that I'm not lying, that chapter has been closed. They fucked shit up. They've literally ruined the relationship that there's no coming back from it. And then they try to come back and apologize. I go like, well, I'm like, yo, fuck off. Because the minute you disrespect me, the minute I catch you in a lie, the minute I notice you moving funny, and I guess you can say it kind of helps that they were moving funny and acting the way they did and doing all they did, because it kind of kept me playing the field, because I'm like, yeah, there's nobody, worthy of me, So might as well just have fun with y'all, since you want to be human dildos without any other reason to exist in my life. I might as well. And for years, that is what I saw men as. Human dildos. You wind them, you dine them, you spread them, and then you let them out. Why are we stressing ourselves here? But somehow that kind of still made me the bad person. Actually giving these people exactly what they wanted makes me a bad person. Maybe they started to realize it's not really what they wanted, but they lied to themselves, because the minute they experienced me and they realized, oh, you can actually get something better. And then they start to freak out. It's that freaking out that never makes sense to me. What exactly are you freaking out about that we cannot discuss? If something comes into your head and you're feeling some type of way, fucking talk to me. Instead, no, they will use it and react and make me feel some type of way. And because I know that I'm just, playing the field and having a good time, I cut my losses and I keep it moving. I don't stress. I never see, if there's anyone I ever had to write a long epistle to, it is because they were definitely giving me the boyfriend experience and I was confused and I needed clarity. And you know what usually happens after that? They always tell you, ladies, don't write that long epistle. Please write it. Here's why. If you get it off your chest and you get it out, if the person responds, you can either judge from their response how they engage you. And if they ignore it and they ghost you, that's the closure right there. You don't need anything more. You don't need anything to try to justify nothing. It is what it is. And that's how I move. So anytime they say ladies don't write that epistle. You know why? So that at least you know that you said what you needed to say. And nobody's gonna gaslight you to make you feel as if how you felt wasn't what it was. You understand? So write it, my dear. Write it. It doesn't make you any less. It doesn't. If anything, you internalizing all those shit and keeping it in, it's just gonna fuck your mind up. I'm just saying. Put that burden on someone else. I could go on and bore you all with stories from my, escapades and ways that I played the field, but I'm not trying to sell a playbook here. No. I'm just trying to, finally hold that mirror up to myself and realize that, yeah, I did have, a rocky, start when it comes to relationships, and that kind of formed my idea of what relationships were or what I thought they were meant to be. And somehow I didn't know that it wasn't helping me. I would never, shame anyone that is playing the field or whatever. As long as you're not manipulating and lying to people, hey, go ahead, have fun. I was always honest to everyone. Still am. But not like I'm not playing nothing, but like I always stand in my honesty no matter what, because I just feel safer that way. You know that anything I told you is exactly as is. So even if 20 years from now you bring it back up, it's still the same thing I'm going to tell you. Nothing is going to change. The story is not going to change. The narrative, nothing is going to change. It's just how it is. So for me, it gives me confidence to know that, yes, I never really did anything that I didn't want to do, because I was honest about it even to myself when I was doing it. And in 2023, ending of 2023, when I said, you know what, I was done with being this person, because something happened to me in 2023, early 2023, that really, really, really messed with my mind. And I was like, you know what? Yeah, maybe give these men a break. Talking stages, all that shit, just cut your losses. Don't worry, I know you want to know what happened. I will tell you, just give it a minute. Okay? So, if you've been following my story and journey on this vlog, you remember that I said that I started my spiritual awakening journey again in 2023. Also, 2023 was at the end of 2022, I decided, maybe I start, stop playing the field and try to find something more, serious, more stable. And I started being open to talking stages and whatnot. And I started talking to someone. It was going smoothly. Also, I thought, sense of humor on check. Just how I like them, younger than me. And we're talking, things are going nice. And of course, we had decided to have a dating trial, basically. And the first time we were to consummate this, he did something to me that I would later find out is a non-violent form of SA. Yeah, I'll put it on the screen because I can't say the word, but yeah, non-violent form of SA. And it really, really fucked with my mind. So what happened was, there's something called stealthing. I'll put it on the screen too. It is a form. It's a non-violent form of SA that a lot of people ignore and do not understand. This is when somebody takes off the protection without your knowledge and proceeds to continue without any protection, without you knowing. Now, when this happened, this is the first time I'm sharing this publicly, so I've always said I was talk about it, but it really, really messed with my head, because this was someone I was trying to learn to trust, and I was giving him myself with the hopes of, him not hurting me, basically. Which I know sounds stupid, but that's life. You gotta be able to take a leap, right? It's not my fault that he had evil plans. And that's the thing that I hate about when you talk about this kind of shit with people. They try to make it, make it seem like, but you should have known better. Bitch, how the fuck will I know that he wanted to play me? I'm not going around thinking everybody's going to play me. There are actually good people out there. And the only way I can believe that and keep in that mind space is to believe that there are good people out there. Even after someone does something bad to me, I don't want to use that on the next guy and say, oh, he's just like the last. No. I want to believe that there are good people out there. I want to believe that my person is out there, and I want to believe that I will find that person. Person will find me. When we find each other, it will make so much sense. But in the meantime, you will deal with a lot of demons out there. You will deal with a lot of motherfuckers who are just horrible, horrible toxic motherfuckers. But it doesn't mean that you should change who you are because of them. No, just have stronger boundaries, and that's what I learned. I'm not going to change the core of me, who I am, the loving me, just because there's an idiot out there that can't think well. No. Instead, I would put in, checks and balances in place that would not let such come again. That's what lessons are. You gotta learn how to move from one bad spot to the next without having to hold on to some blame game or not. No. You see things for what they are, you accept, you take your own side, you make sure that you correct yourself. You make stronger boundaries and you move on. You don't stay and go, oh man, oh fuck man, I hate men. No, I don't hate anybody. I can hate what you do. I can hate what you're becoming. I can hate who you are, but I'll never hate a person. Not even this idiot that did what he did to me. Now, when he did what he did, I knew, when I noticed, I questioned, and he was dismissive with his response and gave like a rushed apology. And I felt very unsafe instantly. I didn't know what that was in that moment because I'd never experienced it. But I knew that it felt like someone took something from me without me knowing. Because remember, this is not someone I'd known for the longest that I should have been safe enough to go like, we don't need protection. No. So it took, and I was very adamant. That's another thing. I was very adamant about the protection. So it really fucked with my mind. And I didn't know how to address it. And I didn't know what to do. Because after that day, I still saw him like a day after that, like a couple of days later. But something in me was just not settled. So I spoke with some male friends that were in my life at that time. And the minute I explained the situation, they're like, oh, you were essayed. And I'm like, are you sure? They're like, yeah, you were essayed. And then I go on Google, God bless Google, and I literally find out that it's literally a term. It actually happens. It's a punishable offense by law. And that just happened to me by someone who I thought cared about me. That shit, even as I found out, I was still in the space of maybe he didn't know, let me educate him. So I reach out to him and I'm like, yo, do you know that this is what happened? And the only thing he cared about is that I was trying to label him. I'm like, no, I'm trying to educate you that what you did was fucked up and you shouldn't have. But somehow he made it all about himself. He made it all about his ego. He couldn't even see how his actions made me feel. And that shit broke me. This happened in March of 2023. It really broke me. That for months I avoided men. Didn't talk to none. Didn't want anyone around me. And it was also during this period I started, it was in April I started my spiritual journey again. So it was just perfect. I just went like, you know what, I'm just going to be celibate. I just don't want nothing to do with no one. And I kept to myself, was facing music, doing other things, trying to like just process what I had been through, because it just didn't make sense to me that at my big old age is when this kind of thing is happening to me, and you never think it will happen to you, but then it does. And that really fucked me up. And coming from someone who has always had guys do very, very, threatening things to me from secondary school even to uni, but I escaped, to you now actually literally being with someone you thought cared about you, and that's the one that now fucks you up. Yeah, that kind of does something to you. And it really turned me around, and I was like, you know what, I'm done playing the field, because this is dangerous. And I wasn't even playing at this point, but it just felt like, maybe he thought I was playing. I'm like, I can't do this anymore. I can't put my life on the line this way. What if he had given me something? Like, what would have been the excuse? How would I have been able to explain that to myself. No, I don't care about, like, to myself. How will I be able to, like, go like, man, this happened to you in your own house. You understand how crazy that shit is? And the fact that he made it all about himself and couldn't even see where I was coming from. Then I realized, oh, this nigga ain't right. And I'm just like, you know what? I bet. And I kept to myself. I didn't even, I think the only time I opened up to talking to someone was towards the end of the year. And even that one, God said, it don't make sense. So I just kind of like, at the end of 2023 was when I reached out to my folks. I'm like, yo, I think I'm ready for, to find love and all of that. I'm done with whatever is on the streets. I'm looking for something real, And that was when I switched and decided it's time to heal my heart. It's time to figure out why I have a problem, being vulnerable, fully vulnerable with anyone. It's time to understand why I am scared of falling in love. Basically because I know that I wouldn't be caught is why I was, and I didn't understand what kind of love I wanted or even what kind of man I wanted. Because we are told what not to want, but nobody ever really tells us what to want. Like, everybody knows what they don't want, but do you know what you want? And I've tested this, I've asked people. Everybody can tell you instantly what they do not want. Oh, I don't want this kind of person. I don't want that kind. I don't want. Okay, what do you want? That's what usually happens. That's because we are concentrating so much on the negatives that we totally ignore the positives that we're meant to be pouring energy into. I had to learn that the hard way because 2024, even though I thought I knew what I wanted, I was still being vague about it because I was too scared to be specific. And that's where you will shortchange yourself, because you should never settle for less than you know that you deserve. If not, you will end up with riffraffs and motherfuckers that are not worthy of your time or even the ground you walk on. Yes. Every time I ever compromised my standards with a dude, every time I made excuses for one thing or the other, I saw the red flag, I thought it was a G-string, just hey. But no, honey, it was a full-fledged carnival waiting to unveil. Every time, it never pays off. But ever since I stopped lowering my standards and I put myself on the pedestal that I know that I deserve to be on, because I'm that bitch, yes honey, I am. I have been able to weed through the nonsense that's coming my way. We could start talking and the vibe is vibing and the energy is right. The minute, because I don't understand this thing that men do when it comes to me. I don't know, ladies, I don't know if this happens to you too, but I know this happens to me a lot where I know I'm a very confident woman who knows herself. And unfortunately, or fortunately, because, men get intimidated the closer they get to me. They start to realize, oh, she's not just a ditzy princess. Oh, she's not just forming this. This is who she is. She literally is this person. And then it starts to make them think about their own life, and then they start feeling inadequate compared to me. Keep in mind, I am not comparing myself to none of these motherfuckers, but somehow they end up comparing themselves to me, and in doing that, they get in their head, and then they start to misbehave, and then play mind games or try to be manipulative or do this thing where they try to make me chase them. Me chase you. I'm fat. What makes you think I run? Unless you're an ice cream truck or your burger, I ain't chasing your ass, motherfucker. Like, what? I don't even chase money. Woo. You men are crazy, man. You men are funny. Wow. Men are turning into passenger princesses, yet they're demanding high-value women when they themselves are not even high-value. They think it's money and power and position that makes them high-value when the mental and the emotional is not even there. Nothing is clicking, nothing is happening, nothing is going on. Where's the growth? Where's the common sense? I'm just saying, if you think the only thing you need to be a man, to be deserving of a woman, is to have money, have power, and know how to raise, then my dear, you are nothing. You are nothing. Okay? Because once you strip away all of that from you, what is left? An empty carcass. I do not care how long your schlong is. I do not care the skills your lips have. I do not care your repertoire of people you've bedded and all that shit. I care about your soul. How dirty is it? Is it alive? Does it still work? I care about this. I care about your spiritual health. That's what I care about. Do we align on all? Or are you just hoping that you can fake it enough to be around me for me to what? Not see it? You see, that's the thing. They always say that when you're dealing with a spiritual body, don't bring any kind of game playing, because I could just literally sleep, dream, and I see what you're doing, and I'm like, I bet. I may not say anything, and then it will still happen in real life, and I'm like, I already knew it. So like, maybe that's why I'm always like very chill when certain things happen and they think it's gonna shake me. And I'm like, oh, I was already prepared. It's fine. It's good. You don't understand that the reason I'm trying to, encourage people to, embrace their spiritual side more is so that you can stop doing the whole woe is me, why is this happening to me? No, it's not your fault that there are people out there that just want to take advantage of you just because they are unhealed, insecure, and have no idea what direction their life is going. That's not your fault, honey. These men need to grow up. But you also have to have strong boundaries. You also have to understand who you are. You also have to do the inner work so that when the riffraffs come along, you can cut them off before they waste your time. I tell all my female friends this, especially the single ones that are waiting on, their own divine counterparts and whatnot, their soulmates. I always ask them, you know what you want? They say yes. I'm like, I bet. So since you know what you want, how about you write it down? Because that's the thing about manifestation. It's not just about thinking and just no. You got to be purposeful about it. It's intention. Write it down. That way you can always go back and look at that list when you meet people and maybe you're getting carried away and you feel like a red flag. Go back to that list. Are you satisfied? And when I say list, I'm not talking it has to be tall, have 6 figures. All these things are just, I don't know. They're not stuff that really is the important thing. Because at the end of the day, you can have 6 figures now and then tomorrow you have 0 naira. So when he doesn't have that, are you going to leave him? He can be tall now, God forbid he has an accident and loses both legs. So if that happens, are you going to dump him? Then that means you yourself, you're not even ready. You don't even know what you want. Because for God to be able to give you exactly what he knows that you deserve, you have to be able to see that you deserve it first. And me deciding to do my healing journey into my heart was because I knew I was deserving of a love like mine. And I know I'm going to get it. But to be able to get it, I had to do the inner work. I had to really work on myself. I had to close all my karmic cycles. I had to realize, the errors and the step of my ways in certain people that I should have never been involved with. And I saw the signs, but I still went ahead because, understanding girlfriend. And I've been able to get to the point now where I am so sure of what it is I want and where I'm headed. And I would not want anything to derail that. Anything, anyone. You understand? So I'm being very careful. But not so careful that I'm blocked off, and because that can happen when shit keeps happening to you and you're really working on your healing, and the universe is going to test you to see if you've learned. Keep sending you the same kind of things you're trying to run away from in different versions to see if you've actually learned your lesson. Until you learn that lesson, you cannot be giving exactly what it is you desire, because then you might misuse it. For someone like me now, some of the things that I know I've still worked on this year when it comes to my emotional side is having to not crash out when someone tries to, what's that thing? You know how they try to manipulate you by not ghosting per se, but ignoring. There's a difference. When you're being ghosted, and you know that you're being ghosted, you're good. But when you're being ignored, there's a thing, especially when you're someone that when you were young, it's like an inner child wound where you were ignored most of your life. People didn't take you seriously. People thought they could just treat you anyhow. And you have to, deal with that as an adult. It triggers you and it kind of throws you into crash out mode. And I have seen myself crash out in ways that I never want to ever again. And because I am someone who takes accountability every fucking day, I decided, you know what? I do not want this to ever happen to me again. I do not want a situation where I'm being ignored and then I start crashing out. I need to figure out how to heal that. And to be able to do that, I had to understand why was that such a big deal for me? Why was it affecting me in such a way? And the minute I realized why, I'm like, oh, okay. And since then, I do not care if I'm talking to you and the conversation is going nice and you all of a sudden disappear on me. No rhyme or reason. Trust me. I'm going to carry on like you never existed. If you show up again, you only get at max 2 chances. When I say max 2 chances, just whereby sometimes it could be you're busy. You know, she could get in the way. You're probably forgetful. It could be anything. That's the first chance. I would bring it up in a way to let you know, oh, you could have said something, but it's I bet. But you do it again? Oh, honey. You're already telling me what I need to know, because I'm sorry, we all know that nobody is ever too busy for anyone they actually really say they care about. Nobody. I'm a workaholic. For the first time in my life, this year is the first time where I've never done anything like, and even at that, I'm still working. Like, I can't sit still. I make sure I keep my mind busy. Do you understand? But never once in my workaholic life have I ever formed busy for anyone I care about, friend or lover. And I know people in my life, friends, both male and female, no matter how busy. And most of my friends are workaholics. I don't have friends that's why we don't even see or hang out all the time. Most of my friends are workaholics. They're indoorsy people like me. They're like hermits like me. You understand? So I totally can excuse it if they even forget to check on me or whatnot. But that's the thing. It doesn't happen. You know why? When someone is important to you, you let them know. You show it. We might not talk for 3-4 days. I'm talking friends, but we always keep in touch one way or the other. Either sending reels to each other or something. You know, there's always something. We're sharing music, we're sharing videos. There's always something. There's no like stagnant silence as if, oh, I can't. No. There's communication regularly, one way or the other. So now imagine someone who says they want to be intimate with you, get to know you, get to know your body, because that's literally basically what they really care about, if you're being honest. And then all of a sudden, they are too busy. They're leaving you on red. No reason why. No apologies or accountability taken afterwards. And they expect you to just move past it and, you know, carry on like nothing happened. I do not want that kind of lackadaisical, nonchalant attitude from someone I claim to care about. You can keep that shit for people, you know, toxic people like you who like that. I did not do all the work to heal myself, heal my heart, for someone to come into my life and waste my time. I don't have that. I literally don't have patience for it. I've gotten to the point where you either come correct or you like, see, I am fine by myself, but I also want to be with someone in the long run. But the thing is, I'm not desperate to be on that train. I'm not desperate to have it, you know, in the next 1 week or 1 month or 1 year. No. Because when I have it, I want to know that it's mine and it's never going anywhere. I take those vows till death do us part way seriously than a lot of people that actually took that vow and are actually existing in marriages right now. And I'm single. I've said it before. The only way my spouse and I are ever going to be separate is by death, either by old age or the one I cause if you try to leave. I'm just saying. So you choose which kind of death you want. I'm just saying. So why would I give chance to someone who doesn't even know who the fuck he is or what he wants? Or because I'm scared of being alone? Please, honey. Being alone has never hurt anybody. Saves you a lot of stress. And when you're not crowned it off with being celibate, oh my God, are you keeping all that sacral energy to yourself? And it fuels your creativity. Because a lot of people think that the energy that comes from the sacral is just to be womp. No, honey. You can use it to fuel your creativity. It can help you expand your mind. It can literally open parts of you that you never actually knew existed, because now you're not concentrating giving all that energy out to unworthy people who are not giving you back. These are things I had to learn while journeying from playing the field into finding love. And the crazy thing is, I have found love, not in the person. I found love in me. All that love I was looking for on the outside, hoping someone will give to me, I gave to myself. And I'm like, girl, you've been wasting your time trying to get these niggas to actually give you this when you had it in you all this while. Like, the way I love myself, I swear, like, I am literally my man's competition when it comes to love. It's not some other guy out there. No. It's me. So when I am with my man, eventually, he would understand that loving me means that you gotta top up how I love me, because, or match it. You either topping it or you're matching it. Because anything less, you gotta go. I would always choose me. That's the love I'll be finding. Because playing the field was me giving it out all willy-nilly to all those motherfuckers that are undeserving. But the minute I took all that love back and I poured it into me, oh glory, hallelujah, oh what a day the Lord has made, hallelujah. It's the best decision ever. I am my own confidant, my own lover, my own orgasm giver, my own joy bringer, my own light bearer. And you now want to bring what? Lantern. Are we okay? I'm holding a fucking lightsaber and you're bringing a lantern. Oh, please. Darth Vader would not be proud. Anyways, I'm just going to wrap this up here and say, if you're busy looking for love outside, you're doing it wrong, honey. Male or female, you're doing it wrong. You have to start from within. When you love yourself, and I'm not saying performative love, oh, I love myself, oh, like, love and light, no. Self-love, no. I'm saying really love yourself, because when you love yourself, you would want to heal. When you love yourself, you want to be better, you want to grow. When you love yourself, you literally want the best for yourself. So give yourself that. Do the inner work. Heal. Become the version of you that when you look back, you'll be so proud. Younger you, your inner child will go like, yes, I knew you could do it. I knew you could love yourself. I knew you could find yourself. I knew you could own yourself. Be who you're meant to be. Be real, be authentic, be you. But the problem is a lot of you think it's too much work. You don't want to. You rather look for someone else to outsource. Let that person love me as I am. You know that thing where people say, this is me, I'm not going to change. That is the dumbest shit I've ever heard. You can know yourself does not mean you can't change. Refusing to change is telling me that you're refusing to grow. You're refusing to be better. You're refusing to see that there are better ways to be. And that's not the kind of energy I want around me in any form or way. Anyone that sees change as a problem is not someone I want in my space. An ex once told me, I think I said it before, but an ex once told me that if we ever got married, he'll give it 10 years. And I'm like, why? He was like, well, because you're always about self-development and you always want to up-level, and that's going to become tiresome. And I'm like, yeah, you're right, because I'm not going to settle for someone who thinks, developing yourself and being a better version of you is tedious and tiresome. No. I want someone that gets excited as I do when it comes to being a better version of your old you. That's the kind of person I want to be with. Not someone that would think, oh God, she's doing too much. Oh God, what is this? No. Because I have lowered myself. I have been in low vibration trying to be like everyone else because I didn't want people to see this side of me so that they don't, get pushed away. And at the end of the day, what happened? What happened? What did it do to me? I almost forgot to say this. The guy that essayed me, a year after that situation happened, he reaches out to me because I didn't block him everywhere via Telegram, because for some reason Telegram, no matter if you block or delete people, it will still put them in your hemisphere as long as they have your number. Anyways, he reaches out to me, apologizes again, or so I was thinking, requests like days later for a phone conversation, a video call. At this point, apparently he had relocated or something out of the country, and we're talking. The fact when we spoke, I'm like, I'm a forgiving person, I don't have time to hold grudges or whatnot. And it was cool. The next time we would have a video call conversation. The next time we'll have a video call conversation, we're talking, and this motherfucker looks at me and he's smiling and he goes like, you yourself, look at yourself. See how you look. How wouldn't I have pulled off the protection with the way you're looking? When I tell you that I deleted this motherfucker with quickness and I warned him. Now what the fuck do you mean? You're joking about what you did. So that means you're not sorry. I was thinking, oh, maybe he's changed. No. That's why I don't be giving niggas 2 tries no more. Once. All you get is one chance. One chance. You mess it up, I notice it, I'm gone. I don't care who you are. I don't care how tight the bond is. I don't care how close or the chemistry or whatever. I don't give a fuck. Once I clock it, I'm done. Because the mistake I used to make is always make excuses. I say that, I literally devil's advocate. I can make a good case for the devil. But honestly, why? Why bother? Because the person you're trying to make a good case for is not trying to change. It's not trying to be better. So why bother? Just because I understand your side does not mean that I should accept you in my space or allow. No, honey. I know what I want. I know what I need. I know what I desire, and I'm not going to ever lower my standards ever again. And neither should you. You should always put yourself on a pedestal. I don't care what those niggas say. Oh, you think who's gonna? I don't care. Oh, you're just gonna end up with cats. I already have one. I might as well. 8 more to go, honey. My cat sleeps in my bed with me, and I am not worried that she might do something to me in the middle of the night. I keep in mind, cats love to bite unnecessarily, and they have sharp claws and all of that. But even at that, they are more gentle than men. Always choose the beer, ladies. Always choose the beer. And on that note, this is where I end today's vlog. I do not know what I'll be talking about next. I usually never know what I'm talking about next. I just wait for the topic to come and I go, oh, okay. And I don't over prepare. I just go with how I'm feeling and I say exactly what it is. And I hope it helps someone else out there. Basically, I'm not here to try to be looked at as a victim or woe betide me. No, it's just that so many shit has happened to me that I can't even cram it all into, a long ass video even if I try. So all I can do is be able to talk about it in doses because I know that there's someone out there that needs to hear this and will definitely help them. And that's why I do this. So anyways, thank you for watching. Thank you for always coming back to watch. Those of you that are returning, watchers and subscribers. And I know I don't always say this in my videos, but come on guys, subscribe now. What's happen? Like, share, and all that good stuff. So it's been a great experience, and until I bring you another one, always remember to stay kind, stay loving, and be you, because everyone else is taken.